Hello everybody and welcome to my Inktober 2017 sketchbook tour. What I want to do is take you on a little walk through all the drawings that I did during Inktober and just tell you a little bit about what I was thinking and some of the challenges and some of the things I learned along the way. So we'll start with October 1st, and this was the first Inktober drawing. I really wanted to do Inktober. I've never done it before. I haven't done a lot of stuff with ink, period, before. And this one was just a real, just draw it. I didn't do a sketch beforehand or anything. I just kind of went for it. And it's a little sloppy. I was satisfied with it enough to call it my first Inktober drawing. The theme or the prompt, which I was using Drawloween prompts instead of Inktober prompts, was Return from the Dead. So here we have a dead cat. Now here is October 2nd, and the cat theme continues. It's Summons Day was the prompt. And this one I got a little more adventurous. I got some bottled ink, and I believe I used a brush on this one, as well as just some little fine tip ink markers. And then I also have a little ink pen that does white that I used to put in some of the details, some of the stuff on the cat fur here and things like that, just to kind of bring out some of those accents. So that was the second. Now here's the first one that I'm really kind of proud of. This was Tombsday, October 3rd, and I was experimenting with using washes. I was overall happy with this one. I like that it's a whole picture. I have a habit of just drawing one subject without anything in the background. And Inktober kind of challenged me to make a whole composition, and this was one that I felt I did a good job with. Still learning to use my washes. There's a lot of mistakes on this, but overall I was pretty happy with it, and still cats. October 4th, no cats in this one, although some people suggested there were cats in the bag. I don't know. I didn't let that cat out of the bag. But anyway, this was October 4th. The prompt was Pumpkin Wicked This Way Comes. And I just wanted to draw this creepy pumpkin-headed creature. And he's collecting his own set of heads. This one was also done with the fine point markers. And then also some of the ink washed out with a brush. Hello, Fizzgig. It's my cat. She's going to give you her commentary on this. All right, now October 5th was kind of fun. The prompt was Full Moon Follies, and I decided that I was going to do a little comic strip. This is one of them where I had a really good idea. I think I got the idea across, but the challenge with these is that not only are you drawing every day, but some of these they took me 2, 3, 4 hours. And this one, because I had to kind of conceptualize it and everything, like I would have liked to have spent a lot more time on it, let me put it that way, and done a much more polished job. But you know, cartoons, it's not so much always about the artwork. It can be, but it's not always. It's more about what it's saying, and I thought this one was somewhat humorous. Here's October 6th. This was Folklore Friday, and I don't know what this guy is. I was kind of going for sort of a Brian Froud field goblin. I'm not sure I really accomplished that, but I had fun with it. I used this paint, or not paint, but like ink brush marker for a lot of this, and then I did some washes with the ink as well. You can also see some of the white, and I brought in to highlight the hair. Anybody that works with any kind of medium where you're adding white in, whether it's paint or ink or whatever, even digitally, it just feels really good to add that white in, but it can be dangerous because you're tempted to add a little too much. And that may have happened in this one. This was October 7th, Cobweb Crawlers. And I love spiders, and so I had a lot of options, but this is basically a golden silk spider, which is a spider we have here in Florida. Not quite actual size, but real close to actual size from the real spiders. And they are orb weavers. And so this one to me isn't very creepy or Halloween themed because I just think of spiders as another animal. But a lot of people probably find it creepy. And this one was interesting too because I did black. I think this was actually marker, alcohol-based marker ink, and then I came in and put a lot of the white in, and I may have gone a little overboard with the white on that outline and stuff. You be the judge. All right, this was a really popular drawing that I did. This was October 8th, Deep Sea Denizens, and I had this really good idea to sort of have an anglerfish type thing where that, if you're familiar with the anglerfish, they have the bioluminescent lure that other animals come over to and they eat them. But I thought, let's go with sort of the alligator snapping turtle version, which they have a little worm-like tongue. Only we'll do it as a deep sea creature, this gigantic fish. And you can see the submarine is going to explore this really interesting animal that they found on the inside of a cave. So that was October 8th. October 9th was Fanged Fiends, and I really wanted to do something Buffy related because I love Buffy, and two of my favorite characters from the show are Drusilla and Spike. So I thought, I'll kind of do that American Gothic looking thing. Again, this is another one that I'm pretty happy with the way it came out, but I would love to redo this maybe and spend more time on it. And if you're familiar with the American Gothic painting, the farmer and his wife with a pitchfork and stuff, kind of do that and make more of a background and stuff behind it. But overall, I was pretty happy with this one. Okay, so here's my first rushed one that I didn't like. This is Martian Mayhem, October 10th. And again, trying to do one of these every day was not easy, and I just wasn't feeling it this day. I had this grand idea of this whole like little town scene, like suburban, like street, and there were Martians TPing houses and egging things and all sorts of mayhem. And I realized that was going to take way too long, and it turned into just this. So, it was kind of fun to figure out the form on the alien as he's jumping and smashing this. But overall, not my favorite. This one came out pretty good. This is October 11th, Swamp Citizens. I love the creature from the Black Lagoon. I really wanted to incorporate him into that, although I will say I put him in a cypress swamp, which is freshwater. I think lagoons usually indicate kind of a brackish or salt water, but oh well, most people won't care about that. This one, I just wanted to do black and white. I didn't want to do any of the washes or anything, so this is some ink painted on and then some of that brush ink pen as well. I think I used a dip pen for parts of this. Some of the other ones I used a dip pen for as well. But, you know, it came out all right. This is another popular one, and I think one of the things that I really got reminded of during Inktober, based on the impact that I guess it had on Facebook and how many people looked at it and liked it and that sort of thing, is it's not always about the quality of the artwork, it's more about what is in the picture. So this one, again, not my favorite, but it's kind of a fun concept. It's called Reel Monsters, and I decided to take reel as a fishing reel. And I've got, you know, there's always a bigger fish concept going in my brain when I did this one. A lot of people like this. Now this one I was pretty proud of. This was Friday the 13th, October 13th, and I wanted to get as many monsters into this as I could. So obviously I've got the clown from It, which I've never even seen, but since everybody's terrified of clowns, I thought that'd be fun. I've got the Freddy Krueger hat and glove. I've got the Michael Myers mask, and I've got the Jason mask, little machete or something there. Which is what that's probably, no, that's the cleaver from Michael Myers, or steak knife thing. And then he's looking at the calendar, and it's Friday the 13th. This one was a combination of markers and washes and things like that. Again, I could have spent more time on this one, but for the time I did spend, and I spent probably a good 4 hours on this one, I was pretty happy with it. I think it gets across what I was going for. I don't know what the monster is back there with the glowing eyes, by the way. I just put that in because I thought it would be fun. Now here I bought these markers that had color. They were called chameleon markers from Michaels, and so I decided to put some color in. I started using a different type of paper. This is October 13th. You see, I just kind of put it in there. It's a thinner, smoother paper that's supposed to be for markers. It's got its advantages and disadvantages. It wasn't good for doing a big wash of ink. It got really wrinkly. And then the other thing that happened was I don't think that I let this dry enough before I started doing some of my inking here, and so some of that black bled in. I wasn't super happy with that, but I like the kind of lighting look on it. This is one of them I think I have on the iPad from the digital concept. You'll see it, how I colored it there as just a rough color. It looked a little bit better, I thought, there. This was I'll Be Back for October 14th, Saturday, October 14th. This one, real simple. I wanted to keep it simple. It was October 15th, Cornfield Capers. I just didn't have a lot of time to work with this one, but I just wanted a nice, clean kind of line art type thing. This would be fun to color, but I didn't color it at the time. This is also on that thin paper. I just got that, so I was kind of experimenting with it. But this was pretty good for that, although with line drawings it doesn't matter as much, the paper you're using. That was October 15th. Now here's the first time I think I really used color well. This was October 16th, Carnival Carnage. And of course, I drew a creepy clown, and I used some of those chameleon markers. And I learned that the way the chameleon markers work is you can use one marker. Like this green is all, I think it might be two colors, but mostly it's one color. This blue is one color, and you kind of dip it into this alcohol cap, and when you start coloring, the color's not there, and then it starts to come in. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. I learned that I like using markers. I learned that I don't know that I want to learn how to use the chameleon markers, but it got me interested in Copic markers, which you'll see later on becomes a big influence. So this was October 16th. October 17th, this one, again, I love the concept on this one. She says, if I kiss that frog, it should turn into a handsome prince. And then she smooches it and gets a little freaked out and stuff because it was not a frog. These princesses really need to learn the difference between frogs and toads. So little science joke there. If you're familiar with toads, they have toxins on their skin, so you really don't want to lick or kiss them, as they will do bad things to your brain. This was also on that thinner paper. Here's October 18th, Crypt Creep, and this one is mostly chameleon markers. I also bought some cheap knockoff Copics from Michaels, which was a mistake. They did not hold up well. I ended up buying Copic markers for real, but I still like the way this guy came out. I really like that I got some of that different colors worked into the skin to try and make him look a little more ghoulish and that sort of thing. And I like the pattern on his vest there. Sometimes I left a page because this is where I went digital. So let me just bring up the iPad here. See if we can get that going. Oh, there's the owl. Okay, hopefully that's in camera. You can see this was a lot of these I did a rough sketch on the iPad, and then I would transfer it over to the paper to do my real ink on it. There's a good example, the scarecrow, there's our clown. Here's the 19th. So this one I did, this was a real quick, like it literally took me probably 15-20 minutes to draw this. I didn't have a lot of time on this day. Nightmare Nomads was the theme. My friend at work, I didn't know what to do. My friend at work Andy, she was like, why don't you do like a homeless zombie? And I thought, sure, that sounds good. So we'll work for brains. And this one was kind of fun because I can record my brushstrokes on the iPad and the program I like to use called Procreate. And I did that with this one. And then when I put it on Facebook, I put the video as well of that. And then the 20th, again, I was a little rushed, but this one was called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Friday. I had no idea what to do for this. I wasn't feeling that theme at all, so I just decided to abandon it, and I went with the supposed haunted doll that is down in Key West. If you ever do a Key West ghost tour or something like that, you will get to meet this doll, whose name is eluding me. What is the name of the... Robert the doll. And Robert the doll is in a little museum, but you can see him on the ghost tour, and it's kind of fun. I don't believe in ghosts, but it's fun. It's Halloween, right? All right. So then we get to the 21st, and this is one that again, I had a great concept for. It was supposed to be like, it was called Cadaverous Cowboys. He was supposed to be like a zombie-ish cowboy. He was going to quick draw, and his wrist snapped and broke off. Actually, the drawing I did here, you can see it a lot better, but when I tried to transfer it to the paper, it was just kind of small, and I kind of lost some of that detail. And I'm not sure how I feel about so much black. I thought it was a good idea, but after I did it, I'm not sure how I feel about it. But anyway, it was interesting. Here's Fizzgig again. Now this one is probably my favorite one that I did. If not my favorite, it's definitely in the top like 2 or 3. And this one is based off of a famous Goya painting called Saturn Devouring His Children. And the theme was Gassed Christmas, October 22nd. And for some reason, that painting popped into my head, and so did the Abominable Snowman from the, what is it, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special. And so if you're familiar with that painting, then you recognize this right away. If you're not, you should look it up. It's one of the most disturbing paintings from art history. And this was mostly done with those chameleon markers. So I was really happy, though, with this one, the way it came out. And I've also got the digital drawing of it. I think that's yeah, there you can kind of see my rough drawing there of that one. So yeah, so this one was one of my favorites for sure. Now this was the 22nd. What I did is, if I didn't have a lot of time, I would do the digital stuff. So this was the 22nd. The 23rd, this one, I tried to make it look like a traditional ink drawing, but it wasn't. It was digital, and I was upfront and honest about that. It's kind of fun to make your digital drawings look like they're traditional. It kind of gives them a different feel and stuff. But basically, I only used the ink brush in my Procreate application to try and still give it that feel and look of an inked drawing. So it would have been the same if I had done it, just quicker to do it this way. And this was called Sewer Settlers. So my concept here was that you've got these innocent children up here just playing, and they see the balloon, and of course there's the clown from It, and a line of other monsters waiting to get the next children in line. So you've got the Chud monster from the Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers movies. This is a vampire from Blade 2. I looked up monsters in sewers from movies, and these are the ones that came up. Of course, you've got to have your alligator heading to the buffet, and just on the side here, you can see something coming through. Apparently, one of the first movies to feature creatures in the sewer was Them, which is a movie about giant ants. So that's what that was. And then this one, I realized today when I was looking at all these that I put the wrong date on it. This was my concept for this, which should have said the 24th. It should have been October 24th, but instead I put the 25th on it. So this is after I got my Copics, and I did use some chameleons for the background, but the witch, the moon, the cat, the broom is all in my Copic markers, and then with an ink outline, a little bit of white. And I was pretty happy with this one. The cool thing about Copic markers is because they're alcohol-based ink, they will bleed together and blend together colors, and I really liked the way that I got the moon color reflecting on the cat with the blues, and same in the hat. So I'm still learning how to do this process, but it's a lot of fun. And this I did on that thinner marker paper as well. So that was the 25th. 26th, I went back to digital and do as I say, not as I voodoo. This one was quick. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for this one, and Voodoo Doll seemed obvious. I think Sandy might have actually gave me that idea. And then, yeah, just kind of had fun with this. This was a real quick drawing on the iPad, and I was pretty happy with the way it came out. This would have looked really cool had I actually done it on paper. That's another thing I'm realizing. I've been doing digital art for a while now, and I really like it because it's easy, it's less expensive, but it just doesn't look quite the same. It does when you print it, but it doesn't look quite the same on the screen as it does physically. It's a tangible item, I guess. Here is October 26th. Happy birthday, Dad. This is I Know a Sarcophagi, and I just wanted to do a cute mummy. I saw somebody, I was watching Copic tutorial videos, and they were coloring like a little cute Frankenstein and Dracula and mummy, and I thought, you know, I want to do that. I like cute sometimes. So this is what I did. You can see the concepts for this one. This is kind of what he turned into there, and then this was another concept I had, a little more complicated. I didn't really like this one in the end. There's parts of it I like, but it was just a little too busy, and I don't know. So I went with the other design. October 27th. Let's see. I believe that is digital as well. Oh yes, this is one of my favorites. I love Day of the Dead, and I hadn't incorporated that into the month, and it was Franken Friday. And at first I was going to do another little cutesy drawing of a Frankenstein, and then I thought, no, let's do a sugar skull version of Frankenstein. And this, again, I tried to do this. I actually did this in a different program than Procreate called Sketchbook Pro, which has Copic colors and digital Copic markers in it. And so I really tried to make this look like a Copic illustration, inked illustration. But I really just wanted to have fun and make a bright, colorful sugar skull Frankenstein. I think I did Frankenstein's monster. Sorry. I think I did pretty good on that one. I was real happy with this. Another one of my favorites of the month. Let's see. Okay, there's some more blank spaces here, so that means that there's more digital. Let's go to the 28th. Okay, this was another real quick rush. Don't have a lot of time. Almost didn't do it. I believe we had a Halloween get together that night, and my dad was in town, so I was with him all day, and then had to get home and get ready for our little Halloween fun, and then, you know, everybody left. It was really late, and I thought, man, I've come this far. I've done something every day. I don't want to not have something today. So I just did a real quick ghoul. It was called Ghouls Rush In. Ended up looking a little Gollum-ish. Not quite Gollum, but a little bit Gollum-ish. And yeah, just kind of did something quick. I put a paper image behind it because it is digital to make it look like it was on paper, which makes it look cool, I think. And then let's see, that was the 28th. Yep, 29th was that Sunday, Bloody Sunday, and I'm not a big U2 fan, so I decided to go with vampires. And yeah, so here it is. Now this one, I did ink the outline, but I really just got a little crazy with the lighting on this one. I really wanted it to look like it was glowing, and that may be something that digital is a little bit better at, because he kind of looks like his eyes are glowing and his cape's glowing, and maybe even his skin has got a little bit of luminance to it. So I kind of like this one. It was quick, it was pretty easy to do, but it was fun, and I didn't have a ton of time on Sunday either, so got it done. That was the 29th. Now here, this was another one of my really popular ones, and I was really happy with this one. If you don't recognize the Cauldron Crones drawing here, it's from the movie Hocus Pocus, which I just saw for the first time this year. So, and I liked it. So I thought if I'm going to do witches, why not do these witches? So that was the concept here. And you'll see digitally I've got there's the drawing digitally. So I lost a little bit of detail when I inked it on the paper, but not too much. I was able to get most of it because it was about the same size. So, and then I added color on here with the Copic markers. This is when I got my big Copic marker set in, I believe. No, I had it for the other witch too. So, but this is when I really got to use it a lot and had fun with it. And yeah, I was pretty happy with this one. And then finally, the last day of Inktober, and the prompt was trick or treat, and I was like, forget that. My prompt is, I made it. 31 drawings in 31 days, and I did it. I was pretty proud of that. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of commitment to do that. It was not easy, but I did it. So I was pretty happy with that. And I learned a lot from it. You know, I mentioned a couple things I learned working on composition. I learned that I need to do more traditional artwork. I just learned to tell more about a story in my pictures, that sort of thing. Things that I already knew but needed to kind of go through these exercises to really, I guess, understand that fully. So anyway, that was Inktober for this year. Maybe I'll do it again next year. I don't know, because it was pretty taxing. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this sketchbook tour. And if you like this, subscribe to my channel. I'm starting some new tutorial videos on real basic how to draws with science incorporated into them. So look for those. And yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks a lot.